Cook Eat is proudly sponsored by StopFoodWaste.ie and Bord Bia. Grow Cook Eat is proudly sponsored by Bord Bia and StopFoodWaste.ie.
So Karen, it's about 55 degrees in here.
It is roasting.
It's so hot.
We are actually wilting, but you know who loves this heat?
The Chillies.
The Chillies, they are thriving.
Yeah. And you can see right down here that
it's ready.
There are actually some chilies already.
That is
these will mature, but at this stage they are actually edible raw.
Are you giving this to me to try to eat?
I promise I wouldn't do something that would embarrass you, Anna.
You always do something to
Honestly,
embarrass
it's
me.
not too hot.
Is this going to blow my head off?
No, not at all.
Okay, I'm going to give it a go. Okay, it's nice.
Is it
it's
hot?
lovely and crunchy. There's no, there's a little.
Oh, there you go. But like,
Don't
not
speak
blow
too
your.
soon.
It's not blow your head off.
No. It's big, not a big.
So that's the
blast
good
of
thing.
heat.
You can with this Hungarian hot wax, you can harvest a couple of them, leave the rest to come on, and kind of it's a really productive.
Oh,
plant
lovely!
as
Yeah,
well.
just harvest as you need them. That is really great. But you know what? Come and check out my containers and the beautiful chilies that are emerging.
These are fab, aren't they?
Yeah, like there's. I think we had a little look for.
Yeah. So each one of those little flowers is going to be a chili, and at a quick count earlier on, there's like at least 50, I think, flowers coming on that.
So nothing else to do now. Keep watering them.
Exactly. Just these need more regular water than the one in the ground.
because they're in the
probably every
containers.
day. But I think it's time for us to get out of here.
I think it is before we turn into a puddle on the
Chilies aren't
ground.
the only hot thing. Time to go.
Cracky, these have come on loads in the last few weeks.
Yeah. All of them are doing really well, so we need to start harvesting these.
Okay.
Now
Will these get hotter the more they stay growing?
Yeah, with peppers you've always got that kind of balance between if you leave them on the plant to ripen to red, which all peppers will eventually basically, you kind of, you're affecting, the plant has to put a lot of energy into ripening. So with these ones we tend to harvest them like this because they're lovely, whereas the Ring of Fire one we want to ripen to red, so we're not going to leave them alone altogether. And the same applies with these bell peppers. Again, if you leave these to ripen, it'll take probably another 6 weeks for this to ripen up.
So these don't need feeding or watering or anything now, they're just happy out to keep going.
You can see these plants are really healthy and green, so these don't need a feed
but check
at
these
all.
out. I think there's kind of telltale signs of the container ones that need them a little bit extra. Okay, so they're looking pretty good, but as you can see, a lot of the leaves have turned yellow, which is a pretty good telltale sign, isn't it? Feed me. I need more nutrition.
Plants are starting to struggle a little bit. Like you can see the difference between those and the ones in the ground, the different shade of green, that they definitely need a feed. But on the other hand,
there's loads of them.
Look how productive that is. Like, there must be 20 of those chilies in 2 plants there.
So this is just a kind of general feed, isn't it? It's nothing as specific as the pellets or seaweed dust.
Exactly, yes. Because these are in a container with no access, the roots can't go anywhere. They need an all-purpose general fertilizer, preferably organic if you can. And we'll just give it a bit of a water in with that. You don't need to kind of go too crazy with it.
And wash the windows at the same time. He can multitask.
It's the last episode of the season, Karen.
But to finish off our growing year, we've got to prepare for the next one.
There are 5 kind of key steps you need to take to get your garden ready for the winter. And if you do them now, you're going to set yourself up for an amazing growing year next year.
So step 1 is all about clearing the beds, and now is the perfect time to do it.
If you leave stuff in the beds, you tend to get a build-up of pests and diseases and things which you want to avoid. So it's really about getting all the stuff out of the bed that needs to come out now. But the other thing that it does, and this is the really important bit, we need to clear out so that we can actually start to work on the nutrition in the soil, replacing the nutrition that we took out of the soil this year, which is the next step.
Step 2 is all about feeding the soil. There are 3 key ways of replenishing the soil.
Yeah, so the first one we're going to do is farmyard manure, right? So you can buy farmyard manure in bags in your garden centre. So we're going to put a layer about 2-3 inches thick on top of the soil and let the worms do the job of digging that into the soil over the winter.
Nice.
Second option is seaweed. So again, available for free on your local beach. Again, it's going to be a much bulkier layer on top of the soil, but it will also rot down into the soil over the winter, and it's an amazing soil.
And we don't need to wash it or anything. You just whack it on, a bit of sand and salt water and all.
Exactly. third thing is we're going to use a green manure called rye, rye grass, which basically will just sprinkle the seed on top of the soil. Really easy, and it'll
No broadcasting, no.
Oh, you
Sprinkles.
broadcast it. Nice.
We need to protect the nutrients that we're putting down, don't we? Because otherwise it'll just get washed or blown away.
Absolutely. So what I use at home, and we use here a lot of here, is we use black plastic. So it's literally like putting your veg beds to bed for the winter.
Nice.
And then finally, it'll also warm up the soil. You get amazing earthworm activity underneath the plastic. And the soil is all set up for a full year's growing. We'll have to do very, very little with the soil next year, and it'll be lovely and crumbly and friable as well.
Oh, perfect. So step 3, crop rotation. Guess what? I sense a teacher moment coming on.
How did you guess? So yeah, it's all about just grouping the kind of the main veg together into families, and then you move the families around every year in your garden. If you grow the same thing in the same bed every year, you get a build-up of pests and diseases in the soil. And so by moving everything around, you're kind of staying ahead of that. So it's the cornerstone of organic growing.
So everything moves in a clockwise
Everything moves clockwise.
rotation.
So I have a lovely little notebook at home. I write all this down religiously. I know where everything's
me
going.
too. So step 4 is all about cleaning, tidying and organising.
Yeah.
So Michael Kelly, tell me the truth, have you ever actually done this?
Never, ever, ever, not even once done that. But this is probably why I have to replace all my tools so often, because I don't do that. So I suppose it's probably a good idea.
Okay, you know what, dude? There's a first time for everything. Okay. Step 5, ordering your seeds. Whatever that means.
You've never ordered seeds, have you?
No, I have never ordered seeds. Why would I?
I think how people order seeds says a lot about their personality type. The couple of bits of advice I would give to people is, first, if you're a beginner grower, pick 5 things that you want to eat and focus on them in the first year. If you're a bit more of an experienced grower, always try and pick 1 or 2 things outside your comfort zone that you've never done before. But the biggest thing, I think, is just have fun with it, because this is like your chance to kind of clean the slate, start again, do everything right, imagine what the amazingness is going to be like next year.
Oh, nice, the sense of anticipation.
Yeah, and just get stuck in and enjoy it.
Well, enjoy your nights in reading your
Thank
seed
you.
catalogues. This is going to be a monumental harvest. I hope they're ready for us. Do you really think after a month they'll have turned red?
I know so, Karen. I know so.
They have. Look at them.
Yeah, they're actually really decorative and beautiful, in fairness.
They are. Look at the red. Clearly
Yeah.
my favourite colour. What's the story? Do we harvest them now and leave the others come?
Exactly. So just taking the red ones and leaving the green ones behind. yeah?
Okay. Okay, I'm done. Now what?
Well done. Containers.
Oh yes, brilliant. I'm going to leave these ones and let them turn red.
Yeah,
so
good
my
plan.
work here is done.
Happy with these?
Yeah, I think they're fantastic.
Good.
So that just leaves Mr. Bendigo himself. The
ABBA
green.
music coming on.
Obviously, we're not going to harvest him today because he's still green. And who in their right mind would eat a green pepper?
Well, actually, lots of people eat green peppers. But you're right in saying that a green pepper is actually an unripe pepper. So
That's the kindest thing I would say about a green pepper.
if you don't like green peppers, I like green peppers. But if you were to leave that green pepper alone for another month, it's going to turn red. And yes, that will be eating it then at its most nutritious, its most delicious. So probably a good.
So that's exactly what
okay.
we're going to do.
We're
going to leave that pepper for
I'll
4
concede
weeks.
that point.
Okay, cool.
All right. I actually like green peppers. Don't tell Karen. Woohoo! It's chili time. Chef Katie Sanderson is going to show us the tastiest way to use all of our chilies.
So we're just going to take the ends off and give them a bit of a rough chop. Hopefully they're not too hot. No, they're lovely. Nice and sweet. But actually the chili builds a little bit. So these little guys are going to go in our compost. So we've got our chopped chilies. We're going to put them in our blender with a little bit of tamarind, which is going to add a really nice kind of sourness to it. And we're going to give them a little blitz. That should be good. Oh, I can even smell the chilies. So just trying to get every little tiny bit out. So this is looking really great. You've got a nice little bit of chunk, but you haven't got any really big bits. So that's cool. We're going to put our little bit of turmeric in there, and we're going to put a good bit of sea salt. So we're going to dry roast the spices. And we've got some fennel seed, some coriander, some cumin and mustard. They're all going to go into the pan. You don't want to let them get too burnt because otherwise you get a real bitter taste. So I'm going to pour them in there. Turn off my heat. I'm just going to give these a good old grind. And then we're going to put our pan back on the heat, save on the washing up. And we're going to put some sunflower oil in there. So we're going to add mustard seed first, then our garlic, and then curry leaves. We're just doing this for a few seconds, and as soon as you start to see little bits of brown bits on your garlic, you know you're done, and the whole thing just goes straight into your bowl. So you just need to mix it all up so that everything is all incorporated. So that's our chili pickle all done. We're just going to get a little serving bowl. This stuff's going to be fairly hot, so you don't want to put too much of it out. And then the leftover can go in a little jar. And if you're like Mick and Karen and you have a big glut of chilies, this is a really nice way to use loads of them up. And next we're going to do some poppadoms. So when the oil's hot enough, they just go in, and they're done in a matter of seconds. So I'll just go over to the other side. That's it, easy. I'd say 3's enough now. And there we have it. It's like a little starter for a curry, or you can just have it as a snack on the table. So we've got some fresh yogurt here, we've got our Indian chili pickle, and we've got our poppadoms.
I heard poppadoms. How's it going?
Good, good.
Oh,
Look
wow,
at the colour of that. Wow.
That looks great, doesn't it?
There is steam coming out of your ears, though.
Yeah.
Is it very, very hot?
Yeah, it is. They are quite hot. A little goes a long way.
I like hot stuff like that.
Go on.
Maybe a little.
Go on, there's loads to share.
Oh yeah. Okay. Woo! Let you know you're alive.
If you did want to make it a little less chilly, you could take out the seeds, and that would cool it down a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's great though. I love that.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. So, I mean, given how easy it was to grow,
Yeah.
in fact, if ever there was a vegetable to grow in a container, this is definitely it. Like, it was
Yeah.
really simple.
Yeah.
Tiny, tiny seed and into the seedling.
30 to 40 per plant, which is like, so I think for most people, probably 1 or 2 plants is loads.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
more than enough, but worth doing.
Yeah.
I'm such a glutton for punishment. Like, I have to go and try another
It's
one.
kind of addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's like,
Yeah, more.
it's very hot, but I love
You're
it.
being very reserved, though. You're not going back for it anymore.
I've eaten loads already.
Woo.
So that's it for another year of Grow Cook Eat. See you next year for more classic dad jokes from Mick.
Mildly amusing puns from Karen.
And of course, 7 new veg to grow, cook and eat.